Hiya, I'm in England, and so I needed something to take for the travel from France to England. So I decided the night before that I would take some English paper piecing. So I was in my scrap box, cutting out little bits for a hexagon. This is what I'm going to do. Very, very rough idea, but this is as planned as I really get the night before. And this is what I'm going to be taking with me. My little bag with all my threads in. These are as many threads as I have. These are hand sewn threads made in France, Fil-à-Gant. I really like them. I think they do a really good job for appliqué, for English paper piecing. Then I've got my chippy threads for actually piecing the bits around the outside. I'll show you later. My good scissors, but obviously you can't get on an aeroplane with them. So I've got these foldy up ones. I don't know what the rules are with the airport. I think the rules are if it cuts, you're not allowed to have them. So I've got these, and they do cut threads. I've got my paper pieces, and I've got my needles that are proper appliqué needles, and they are just excellent, the proper appliqué needles. Really advise them, Bowen or Clover. So the metro, the bus, then on the train was 3 hours. So in that time, I did manage to get quite a few pieces covered. Such a tiny space. Luckily, I had a travelling companion, my daughter, who doesn't take up too much space because she doesn't like all the sewing business. So she had a book, so I could spread out a little bit on her side, which is really good. And this is how I do my paper piecing. I know there's no right way of doing it or wrong way, but this is how I feel best doing it. Folding it over onto these pre-cuts, because they're so easy, the pre-cuts, already done for you, precision. I really like them, and the hexagons aren't too expensive. So I clip half of the hexagon, and then I go around with my needle and thread, and I put two stitches in every corner and a big stitch between. I know that some people go right through the paper, and I know that some people glue it, but I just wanted to take the least amount of things as possible, and I thought this was fine. So I was very lucky to actually get here at all, because there's lots of strikes in France. And the Saturday before we were coming away, there was quite a lot of trouble in the town centre. People just have smashed a lot of the windows and of the shops, and bins not being picked up anywhere. And so I was quite worried about everything being cancelled. And the strikes were actually the day after. So we did well to get here at all. But I did do some pictures took some pictures of the town. This is all the smoke at the bottom of the street there, and there's like police cars. People have boarded up the windows in the town. And this poor man's putting all the chairs away because you can hear the trouble coming. All the bins on the street. It's a bit of a sad state of affairs. But I'm hoping to get back with no problems either. We'll see how it goes. And the strikes here in England as well, but not like that. So then I go on to put in the two covered hexagons together. So I just anchored in the corner, and I think you do have to pay more attention to each of the sides. You don't want it coming away, so 2 or 3 stitches in the sides. And this as well, I see people doing whip stitch, but I feel like my whip stitches are maybe a bit heavy-handed, and I can see the stitches when I open up the 2 pieces. So I haven't done it like that. I do a stitch on one side, and then I come up on the other side, directly parallel to it, and I just try and pick up the least amount of material, just a few threads in each one, and I try and do it that way. I know it's quicker doing whip stitch, but I just haven't really got the hang of the whip stitch yet because, like I say, too heavy-handed, I think. So I do that until I get right to the end, and at the end I do the same thing, like on all of the joins I put a few more stitches in so it'll hold. And so at the end I open it up and check that I'm happy with the results on the other side. I really don't like seeing stitches. That's why I like to get a similar colour to the material as well, because if there is a stitch that you see a little bit, it blends in. So I did manage to get quite a few covered. The train was the part that I could probably sew the most, and then I was onto this tiny aeroplane, and it's only about an hour and 5 or 10 minutes going from Paris to the northeast of England. So by the time you get off the ground, they come round, give you half a sandwich, a glass of juice. So time is, you've hardly got any time. But I did manage to get a few covered, and I started getting the actual flowers together. And so it's just nice as well to actually have the choice of doing some sewing. Even in a waiting room or anything like that, I hate it if I haven't got some material in my hands when I'm sitting waiting for something. So we landed, and then I tried to count up what I'd done. I got all the pieces covered, more or less, maybe a couple, and some of the flowers done. And then I just finished it off the next morning, or a couple of mornings, when I was at my mum's house. And this is what I'm left with. So it's a small strip that I think I would like to do a bag with. So this is ready. I'll have to quilt it. That's part of it. And then this is it finished. So if I wanted to make it into a square, I can fold over those bits. So this is another hexagon piece that I'm working on, and this wasn't done with English paper piecing, this was done with a template. So I drew around every hexagon and hand sewed all the sides. But I don't know which method I prefer. I like both methods really. I do feel like this one's more solid for me, but then I just don't have the same experience as doing the English paper piecing. So this is the strip if I fold the bits over, but I think I'll leave it like that and applique it onto something. Thanks for watching.